Hi, everyone, for joining in. As you all know, we are here with a guest today and we have a session on Entrepreneurship 101. It's not exactly Entrepreneurship 101, but a reference to Mr. Faizan and his life and his journey as well. So I guess we'll start on from there. But to give a brief background on why Mr. Faizan, it's because he shifted from one very straightforward, very steady background of investment banking to starting up and setting up shop, which was known as East River, which is a digital marketing agency here in Karachi, I suppose. Yes, here in Karachi. And knowing through experience, personal experience, and through the experience of many of my university candidates, I know it's very difficult to go and have this conversation with mind over matter, and sometimes go in a direction that is all entirely different and set up something that is from scratch. So a big commend, like it's a big commendship on your efforts as well, but also it's very difficult to do that. And in that regard, thank you for taking out the time for this session, first of all,
Thank
and
you.
thank you
Thank
for
you for
joining us.
having me.
And just a little brief background to all of our audience members. This session is an interactive session, it's a live session. So, whoever has any comments or any questions or any journey or any experience they would like to share, you can do that in the comment section that we have here. Or even like if you want to give us affirmations, because normally we have people saying, nice, great work. You can do that too, guys. I'm here and I can watch that over. So, Mr. Faizan, how are you? First of all, because you just joined in, I did not have the chance of asking that question to you.
I am well now. I'm calm. I was a little frazzled. I was stuck in traffic, and it was 7:52, and I was like, I am going to be late. But I think I just made it here in the nick of time. Friday evening traffic is always crazy, यार. तो क्या करें?
Yes.
सबको
That is,
weekend की पड़ी हुई है कि घर भाग के थोड़ा relax करें.
yes, and look at what we're doing at 8 p.m. We're telling people to come and watch your show. I mean, watch this event. We're wonderful people, aren't we? But, well,
We'll make it interesting for them. Don't worry, we'll make it interesting.
today's session is all about entrepreneurship and it's all about starting your own
The
business.
best
But we're
thing
not,
ever. It's the best thing. It's the best thing. I think everyone should start their own business. Pakistan would be a better country if we all went out, created employment, and started business. And it is the hardest thing you will ever do, frankly. The hardest thing. Like if you think that, I don't know if I've always struggled with sort of losing weight and maintaining weight, and I've tried every sort of diet like keto, Atkins, low fat, low carb, low everything, right? और जो जितनी भी मुश्किल डाइट होती है ना उससे ज्यादा मुश्किल मतलब जो है वो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है जितना मुश्किल ऐसे कोई अपना स्टैमिना बिल्ड करना चाह रहा है साइकिलिंग में या वेट लिफ्टिंग में उससे ज्यादा मुश्किल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है और जितना ज्यादा मुश्किल ए लाना होता था लेट्स से कैम्ब्रिज ए लेवल्स में इंटर में और कॉलेज में उससे ज्यादा मुश्किल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है लेकिन इट इज आल्सो द मोस्ट रिवॉर्डिंग थिंग यू कैन डू विद योर लाइफ सो आई एम अ बिग प्रोपोनेंट
as a reward and as a booster, I believe I sent out questions, but I would still ask this. If you could pitch your life to people right now, what are you currently doing in your life with East River and with every other venture that you've started off?
I am trying to create value where value may not have existed. That's what I'm trying to do with my life. I think, with every venture, we want to sort of, the real question is, what is the problem we're trying to solve? East River Jata was a byproduct of a frustration. I'll be honest with you. मैं एक TV channel चला रहा था उसका नाम था Health TV जो मैंने so I did investment banking in New York. I moved back to Pakistan. I left banking. मैंने कहा था यार मुझे एक business. I want to start a business. क्योंकि banking से I realized I don't mind putting in the long hours. I don't mind sort of looking and learning about businesses holistically. लेकिन यार इतने सारे घंटे मैं डाल रहा हूँ अपने लिए खुद करूँ मैं ये काम. So when I moved back, I launched Health TV that I did for a couple of years. अब Health TV जब बना रहे थे तो एक digital का US से आया तो the US was a little bit more प्रोग्रेसिव इन डिजिटल तो मैंने कहा यार टीवी की साइट होनी चाहिए कंटेंट और यूट्यूब होना चाहिए एंड वी शुड एक्चुअली हैव अ स्ट्रांग डिजिटल प्रेजेंस तो मैंने एजेंसीज को हायर किया कि देखो हेल्प अस बिल्ड अ डिजिटल प्रेजेंस एक को हायर किया फिर दूसरे को हायर किया मजा नहीं आया काम में रिपोर्टिंग टाइम पे सही नहीं थी कंटेंट सही नहीं था डायरेक्शन नहीं थी स्ट्रेटेजिक विजन नहीं था मैंने यार खुद ही कर लेते हैं यार कितना ही मुश्किल होगा तो मी एंड वन कंटेंट राइटर आई हायर्ड वी स्टार्टेड विद दैट तो हमने अपना फेसबुक पेज बनाया फेसबुक पेज पे बना के अच्छा कंटेंट डाला और खुद से बगैर बूस्ट किए हम विद इन 3 years 3.5 million फैंस पे पहुंच गए फिर वेबसाइट बनाया हमारे दोस्तों ने देखा यार उन्होंने कहा यार ये तो बड़ा अच्छा है कैन यू हेल्प अस मेक आवर डिजिटल प्रेजेंस एज वेल So I said, okay, let's get your website made. Let's get your social made. That's one friend, two friends. Suddenly the third friend is like, yeah, can you actually come and help me with my company's thing? And this friend happened to have a big confectionery business. We said, okay, we'll come help. And when we got that account, which was Continental Biscuits, so that's Oreo, Lou, Tuck, Candy, Zira, all of the biscuits, there's 9 of them. I said, oh my God, I think we just became an agency, so we need a proper team. And then, went and staffed a team. That team was originally maybe I think it was 10 people. The first original team was like 4 people, 3 or 4 people, one designer, one developer. Then we went to like 10, 12 people. And today, mashallah, we're close to around 70 people in 2 cities, and we're serving international clients. So it's honestly, the problem we solved was we wanted to deliver great agency service to clients, and we wanted to be strong in execution. And it's very difficult because agency is a relationship game and it is a people game. The only thing you're selling is time, and time of a person's resource, right? The wo jaise resources change hote hain, the biggest thing to do is to create a system and a process in an agency. And so that's what we're focused on doing. And obviously it takes time to get it right here. It's been about 4.5 years for us. And mashallah, so we've had a very good journey. So that's been the East River part of it. Side way, I had actually started this company called Hiba Life. And the concept was based on the concept of Tibbe Nabvi, herbal remedies का पूरी दुनिया में एक रुझान था, right? मतलब आप US में देख रहे थे तो Nature's Bounty है, GNC है. GNC तो खैर is more on the sports nutrition side, but on the sort of the herbal side, you had a lot of supplements coming in. There was a focus around organic and herbal and so on. And if you look at Chinese medicine history, if you look at homeopathic history, all were derived from like herbal, regional sort of benefits from that region. क्या इधर के herbs इन चीजों के लिए अच्छी हैं. तो मैंने कहा यार ये चीजें मतलब हमारी region के भी होगा, कोई जिक्र होगा. तो when I came across a couple of hakims who told me कि there's this concept of Tibbe Nabvi, Quran और सुन्ना में जिक्र है कुछ herbs का, तो उसके basis पे हमें काम करना चाहिए. तो फिर मैंने research की, पता चला 53 herbs हैं और इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं, यानी कैमल मिल्क हो गया, शहद हो गया, इंजीर, अजवा हो गया, इस तरह की चीजें थी जिनका जिक्र है. तो मैंने कहा यार व्हाई नॉट क्रिएट दिस, क्रिएट प्रोडक्ट्स अराउंड दैट एंड गो टू मार्केट. अच्छा, टीवी चैनल उस वक्त मैं चला रहा था, डिजिटल प्रेजेंस थी. मैंने कहा विल यूज टीवी एंड डिजिटल टू क्रिएट द प्रोडक्ट रेंज एंड मार्केट इट. तो मार्केटिंग सॉर्ट ऑफ फ्री हो जाएगी. तो वो कंपनी भी स्टार्ट की एट द सेम टाइम. एंड देन हिबा लाइफ काइंडली ग्रेजुअली बिकेम it's a small brand that's growing. We're available in about 2,000 stores nationwide. And we have an e-commerce platform, and 70% of our product that's sold is honey. So we source the best honey from the northern regions of Pakistan, and we've started exporting to this month for the first time. So it's been good. It's been rough, but it's been good.
That is impressive to say the least. And look at me, I'm a 9 to 5 job holder person saying impressive to a person who has 2 businesses.
Well, no, I was that too. I was in your shoes a long time ago. I was 9 to 5 at General Motors. I worked at GM for 4 years. You see there's cars at the back? That's my first passion. I love cars. I'm a big car guy. So I did that for a few years, and then it just, after a while I said, yaar, kuch khud karte hain,
So while that is a thing, while that is something that you've established, it might have been very difficult. I know you're saying things like, it's been 4 years since I established something, it's been a good journey and everything. But it wasn't always that case, was it? Like, there's a separate mindset that you need to be in to get to a point where you start your own business, set up shop, have failures, have successes, and have that entire roadmap.
It's only failures. In the first few years, it's only failures. You fail and you try again, and you fail and you try again. I mean, resilience. So there's 2 parts. I think there's 2 parts to your question. Is A, what is the mindset you need कि यार मैं ये stable 9 to 5 steady stream of income छोड़ के मैं एक risk लेना चाह रहा हूँ, ठीक है? And the second question is मैंने risk चलो ले लिया, right? And I've jumped into it. अब मैं इसको चलाऊँ कैसे? How will I survive? Right? So that's 2 questions. The first question I would answer is, yeah, first of all, like, why do you want to start a business? Like, you really have to dig deep into your soul and answer that. Is there a problem you see that you want to solve? मतलब East River जैसे था, but honestly happened by chance. Investment banking में आप एक client services business में, so I had that client facing exposure, which then I ended up bringing here. I saw a problem I wanted to solve, and I went in and solved it. I was solving it for myself, selfishly, but then it kind of grew from there. So that's the first question: is are you able to solve a problem that currently exists? Okay, if that's not the case, okay, are you doing it because you're super passionate about something? मुझे गाड़ियों का बहुत शौक है, मतलब बेहद शौक है. मैं बचपन से मेरा टूल बॉक्स होता था और मैं गाड़ी के साथ टिक टिक करके कुछ ना कुछ इंजन खोल रहा हूँ, सस्पेंशन खोल रहा हूँ, काम कर रहा हूँ. कॉलेज में मेरा अपना छोटा सा वर्कशॉप था. मैं अपने फेलो स्टूडेंट्स के ऑयल चेंजेस करता था, रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस. तो बट आई डिडंट टर्न दैट इनटू अ बिजनेस. ठीक है, मैंने एक छोटा वर्कशॉप बनाया, बट आई एम नॉट लुकिंग एट दैट एज अ बिजनेस. शौक से बनाया, वो मैं एज अ बिजनेस नहीं ट्रीट करना चाह रहा. आई डोंट नो व्हाई आई डिडंट लुक एट इट दैट वे, क्योंकि आई वांटेड टू कीप माय पैशन सेपरेट. सो सम पीपल लाइक नहीं यार मुझे अपने पैशन में बिजनेस करना है. सो देन दैट्स योर सेकंड थिंग. तो पहला ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हो, आर यू पैशनेट अबाउट समथिंग. एंड थर्ड थिंग, लोग कहते हैं मैंने पैसे बनाने हैं. जो पैसे बनाने वाला सीन है ना, वो यार वो थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा. सो इफ यू आर गोइंग इन स्ट्रेट फॉर कि यार मैंने पैसे बनाने, that may not be the best or the right objective. क्योंकि the minute you see कि यार 1-2 साल नहीं बने, like नहीं यार छोड़ दो. So really think through why you're going into this. अब once you've thought it through, and let's say you've said कि अच्छा चलो यार मैं passion, I want to follow my passion, मुझे शौक है let's say sports का, तो मुझे जो है बैठ के sports marketing करनी है, या मुझे एक sports agent बनना है, या वो जो भी something related to sports, मुझे sports academy खोलनी है. Once you get into it, फिर आपने पीछे नहीं हटना है. Burn your bridges and sell your boats, or burn your boats and break the bridges, or do whatever, but do not have a way back. When I got up and I left the US, ek dafa I remember quitting my job and I moved here. So I took about 6 months off and I moved back. I never thought कि यार मैं अगर ये चला नहीं मैं वापस चले जाऊँ. This was never a thought in my mind. Obviously, you have those days कि यार what if I had stayed on. वो अलग है. But to this day मैं कहता हूँ यार this has to work. अब बस करना है and it has to work. There are bad days and there are very bad days, and there are the days that you just don't even want to get out of bed. But you get up, you show up, and you keep going, because every day that you show up and you fight even the smallest of battle, you're taking a step forward. If you fall 2 steps behind, koi baat nahi. Dust yourself up and continue. It's like riding a cycle, yaar. Kitni dafa girte the cycle chalate hue. That's my view on this.
That is still something that people struggle with, I guess, when they lose hope pretty quickly when they start something off. There are so many ventures I started that I've never got up on, and most of them have been passion ventures and stuff that I wanted to continue and all.
So why did you give up on them?
I gave up on them because time and my priorities. Those are like a separate.
There you go, right? So no, but you prioritize something else over the venture.
I prioritize something else over the venture, and that's how I began.
And I think that's for an entrepreneur. If you really want to get it right and you really want to win, the venture has to be the number one priority, always. But
say there's a question that is always on my mind when this sort of things pop up. Like people telling us, "Oh, you can set up ventures, and you can even set up any sort of freelance opportunity or any sort of opportunity that you can set up or start from a very small morsel of whatever you have and grow it into something that is a huge tree." But then what is the in practical terms, what you would like to suggest to people in terms of when they're planning out for things and when it doesn't work out? If failure is a set goal for like 2 years, 3 years straight, how to get out of that mindset, how to get out of that loop, that gunk loop that people are stuck in? For example,
because you need to know when something is not working and you need to shut it down. Yeah, I mean, you can't. I'll tell you, so within Hiba Life, I'll give you an example, right? So Hiba Life ke andar, it continued to evolve. I started the idea with a herbal, like a medicinal focused company. मेरे दिमाग में था कि यार हम जो है एक sales force बनाएंगे जो हकीम्स को target करेंगे और हकीम्स को uplift करेंगे. And I created a department of Eastern Medicine at Xiaotian University. I spent some time there as well as the finance director. And so I created Eastern Medicine. I said, yeah, we'll develop, train hakims, because look, Eastern Medicine ka concept, and at the end of the day, a lot of the pharmaceutical products come from herbal, let's say, extracts. ठीक है ना? मैंने कहा इनको अपग्रेड करेंगे और एक सेल्स फोर्स बनाएंगे और प्रोडक्ट इनको जाके बेचेंगे, जैसे करशी हमदर्द करते हैं. बट ठीक है यार, वो इंस्टेंट सोल्यूशन नहीं देते. इट्स मोर प्रिवेंटेटिव एंड लॉन्ग टर्म. फिर मैंने कहा क्लिनिक्स बनाते हैं. अब हकीमों के क्लिनिक पे लोग गए, उन्होंने देखा यार हकीम का क्लिनिक एक माइंड होता है यार, कि यार ये क्लिनिक है एंड आई वुडंट गो देयर एंड इट्स लाइक you laughing is exactly what I mean. Like when I said Hakeem clinic, suddenly it was like, oh, okay. I said, no,
Hmm.
we can change that. So we created the first clinic in Karachi on main Rashid Minas Road. Very nice, looked like perfectly clean, like a state of the art hospital, had a completely software driven approach where patient data was managed. A patient could call in, look at the prescription they had. We had all the herbs from the best places we procured, from some of the biggest names. And we had really good Hakims who then spent time on TV and basically worked with patients as well. That model worked. We were promoted through the TV channel. So I created a second clinic in Lahore, a third in Hyderabad, and then a fourth in Islamabad. And it worked perfectly fine until COVID happened.
Hmm.
And then when COVID happened, suddenly there was no traffic to the clinics. There was no traffic at all. And then if any traffic was happening, it was happening at the doctors, right? Because people are like, yaar, mujhe doctor ke paas jana hai, instant cure chahiye.
Hmm.
That entire model just fell flat, literally overnight. And I had to take an instant decision. I said, yaar, isko main khechu, dekhen COVID ke baad kya hota hai. We're burning through rent. 10 weeks ke liye cheezein band padi huyi thi. We're burning through cash flow. Shut it down. I shut all four of them down. I said, yeah, you know what? It's a tough call. I'd started the business on this premise, but right now is not the time. Let's focus on the retail business. The honey part is doing well. Let's build the online portal out and let's shut this down. So, do I call this a failure? I don't know. Maybe I did fail. Maybe we didn't do it right. Maybe we didn't do it well enough. Maybe we didn't focus on it. But we took a call, we shut it down, and we moved on. And now we're focused on, let's say, the retail product. So, point being, yes, you will encounter roadblocks, you will encounter bumps. You need to decide at that point, does it make sense for you to continue or change course? Never stop riding. You might have to course correct, but you don't stop. So, we course corrected.
Yes. I guess that is to say that that was a very adaptive decision. I'm so sorry. That was a very adaptive decision on your part as well. Well, the funny thing with online sessions is that you have people coming in and commenting things as well. We received a comment saying we are hosting a conversation with Artikul, which is weird. I don't get it. Interesting. Well, just pausing in to let most of the people that are viewing the session to know that you are open to sharing your experiences with us, and I'll host the comments in the live stream as well. Moving on, we've talked about mindsets, we've talked about adaptability, and also about being practical. There are so many people like me, like say most of my office members who are 9 to 5 workers, who struggle through life, go home, get some sleep, a bit of the morsel of sleep, and then come back. When they think about starting businesses, they don't think about making a risky decision or a hasty decision and just leaving everything behind and moving to another city, changing your name, and making a venture. But there is a possibility of managing two things on the side. For example, when you talked about East River and when you talked about your uh, what was that herbal setup shop that you did, they
Hiba
were
life.
both
Yep.
Hiba Live, yes. They both were like, two things working together, working simultaneously together. In that sense, when there are people like me, or people like, say, anyone who is doing a 9 to 5, how difficult would it be, or what sort of a different approach would they have to take when they're trying to set up something, but also not take the risk or the leap of faith to just, dismember everything else and shift to a new place or do another thing or start another thing without any sort of, predictability or score? How to go about it, how to start side hustles, as we spoke about in our previous session as well. How does one go
So,
about it?
So it's, look, a side hustle. Look, I'm not saying you just burn your bridges immediately, right? You hold on to those bridges and boats till the latest possible point. But once you're all in, you burn it. That's
Hmm.
the point I'm trying to make, is the side hustle is important. East River started as a side hustle. Hiba Life started as a side hustle when I was running the TV channel, when I was doing, let's say, the finance role at Saudi. They started from there, and frankly, as they grew, and as they started taking up more time and they started, sort of reaching critical mass, then I said, you know what, they need more of my attention. I have to get out of these other gigs because I'm really interested in building these and building them to the potential they are. Partly because I saw the opportunity and scope in digital and, let's say, in this honey and herbal space. and partly because I was really excited and passionate about it. So that gradual shift happened. And so let's say if Easter was started, let's say mid 2016. I used to spend, let's say, part of my time doing it. I had a good team. We had some clients. And then as we started scaling and our clients became multinationals like Philip Morris and L'Oreal, and then we got into the real estate sector, and then we started getting banks as clients like Suneri and JS and so on. Suddenly like it started taking up a lot more time. We had to build process. We had to build systems. We had to build a complete proper finance structure. You had to build ERP around it. Okay, now suddenly this is a business. So then you give up that day 9 to 5 role and you move. And guess what? You may not have the cash flow consistency that the 9 to 5 gave you. वो जो आपको हर महीने पेचेक मिलता है ना, पहली और 10 के दरमियान, वो नहीं मिल रहा था. अब जब पैसे आएंगे, सबसे पहले तो आप एम्प्लॉइज को पे करें, फिर अपने वेंडर्स को पे करें, फिर अगर कुछ बचता है तो फिर आप अपनी जेब में डालें. ठीक है, और अगर नहीं बचा तो फिर आप डिफर कर दें नेक्स्ट मंथ. तो ये एक माइंडसेट होता है, ये वक्त के साथ आता है. तो बिल्कुल मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि आप साइड हसल ना शुरू करें, बिल्कुल साइड हसल के तौर पे शुरू करें. ठीक है, काम के दौरान अगर आपको टाइम मिलता है, काम के बाद टाइम मिलता है, वीकेंड लगाएं इस पे. लेकिन जब साइड हसल एक मोमेंटम पकड़ लेता है, एक कस्टमर बेस पकड़ता है ना, और आप समझते हैं कि इसमें यार लॉन्ग टर्म पोटेंशियल है, उस वक्त एक फैसला लें कि यार ये मुझे करना है और मुझे क्यों करना है. और ये वही तीन पॉइंट्स मैंने जो रेज किया था ना, क्या मुझे यहाँ पे एक प्रॉब्लम है जो मैं सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ, क्या इसके बारे में बहुत ज्यादा पैशनेट हूँ, या मुझे बहुत सारे पैसे बनेंगे इसमें. मतलब पैसा शुड नॉट बी द प्राइमरी ड्राइवर, क्योंकि जब पैसा खत्म होता है तो काम छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. तो ये फिर आप एट दैट पॉइंट सोचें, और उस सोचने के बाद आप एक ग्रेजुअल शिफ्ट करें. यार अच्छा, अब वक्त आ गया, मैं शायद साइड हसल पर टाइम देता हूँ, कुछ दिन शायद मेरे पास पैसे नहीं होंगे या मैं टाइट पोजीशन में होऊंगा. तो दैट्स व्हाई डे जॉब से आप सेविंग करें, एक अपना एक कुशन बनाए. that's my view. Your day job should create the cushion. Your side hustle, then once you go all in, you use that cushion to sort of survive through the first few months of the difficult period in your side hustle.
And strengthen your business and support
Correct.
it under contingency issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we have a question. We have a question by Amna. Amna Salim. She says that what is the thing about business that business schools don't or just cannot teach you that can only come from experience?
So funny thing is, I went to business school and I spent 2 years in business school. I also took a course on entrepreneurship. I still have that binder. It's this thick. And guess what? I've looked at that binder once in the last 10 years. And that too just because I was like, oh, you know what? I want to see what was in it, because I bet none of it's true. And the one thing that I feel business schools don't teach you is the true grit, the raw side of that hunger, the grit, the resilience you need to be able to get that business off the ground into something that has critical mass. उसके बारे में किसी ने कुछ नहीं बताया था यार, कि जो जान जाती है ना बिजनेस खड़ा करने में, वो किसी ने नहीं बताया था कि यार ये ऐसे होगा. क्योंकि एक दफा जब खड़ा हो जाता है ना, फिर एक मोमेंटम भी आ जाता है, फिर लोग भी आ जाते हैं. शुरू में लोगों को कन्विंस करना कि आओ मेरे साथ काम करो यार, भाई तुम्हारे साथ क्यों करे काम, यहाँ पे मार्केट में 10 और एजेंसीज हैं, वहां ना चले जाए. What if your agency fails? What if you don't survive? What if, right? So you're convincing everyone. You're convincing vendors. You're convincing you're convincing potential teammates. You're convincing potential customers. Everyone is being convinced now. About convincing me second. So the first thing is the resilience and the grit. The second thing is that convincing, the sellability. ये आप salesman हैं, आपने convince करना है. आप कॉन्स्टेंटली कुछ बेच रहे हैं, आप अपना एक विजन बेच रहे हैं. आप वो विजन अपने एम्प्लॉइज को, अपने टीम मेंबर्स को, अपने वेंडर्स को, अपने सप्लायर्स को, अपने मार्केट को, फिर आपने जाके दुनिया को भी बताना है यार ये हम काम कर रहे हैं. तो ये चीजें हैं ना, ये बिजनेस स्कूल नहीं सिखाता है. ट्रेन करता है कि आप चाहे प्रेजेंटेशन दें क्लास के सामने, ठीक है, आपने थोड़ी सी प्रेजेंटेशन स्किल सीख ली, लेकिन ये जो सेलेबिलिटी है ना कि यार मैंने आइडिया अपना डिलीवर कैसे करना है कि दूसरा बंदा कहे यार आई एम सोल्ड, आई एम ऑन बोर्ड, लेट्स डू इट.
Well, we have comments coming in, but I have a personal question. So when you talk about the fact that you've been through business school, right? I will share my experience. I've been through policy schools, and I've studied social development and policy. Something
Right.
never related to creative direction or creative field, anything related to the creative field in that sense. But for example, there's so many people like me who are either coders or people who are just working their 9 to 5s, not carrying the same degree, but initiating different categories. For example, different businesses that are not related to their subjects at all, right? Probably driven or inspired by people like you or people that they look up to. So in that sense, does it need to be there? Like, does the experience or does your payment or does your investment need to be in the field that you're actually starting up shop in, or building something in your way?
Yeah, I am the wrong person to ask that because matlab, I don't know. I don't even know what my field is anymore. I started my career in the auto industry. I spent 2 years in a manufacturing plant on the line as a
Mm,
supervisor of where the assembly happens, right? Because that was part of my leadership training at General Motors. They start you off on the assembly line. तो मुझे engineering role दिया गया वहां पे in an engineering role I excelled even though I was not an engineer. I was a psychology major in my undergrad.
mm,
Then from there, I went into marketing. Then I went to business development for 1 year each. So it was 4 years there. Then I went into business school, did finance. Then I did investment banking, covering the auto sector. So by then, you could say I was an auto sector specialist. मुझे industry का बहुत पता था. फिर वहां से निकल के टीवी चैनल आया, खड़ा किया. टीवी चैनल से खड़े करते हुए ये डिजिटल एजेंसी निकल आई और साथ में ये अब शहद बेच रहे हैं.
mm,
तो अगर मैं अपनी करियर देखूं मैं कहूंगा यार वाह ये मैं किधर से लेफ्ट राइट होते हुए इधर पहुंच गया हूं. लेकिन जो मुझे इट्स इररेलेवेंट के सेक्टर, चलो ठीक है, आई डोंट थिंक इट्स इररेलेवेंट. कुछ सेक्टर्स मुझे लाइक आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट.
mm,
आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड. दैट्स अ वेरी लुक्रेटिव सेक्टर. ठीक है ना, वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ मनी ग्लोबली. I'm not interested in hospitals. Hospitals make a lot of money. It's a very depressing sector, So you have to find the sector you like. And so, yes, I like the sector of digital marketing. It's cutting edge. It's new. There's marketing. Marketing is always happy, shiny. You're excited. So it feels good. It's a feel-good sector. Banking was like that too because you're spending money, buying companies. Feel-good sector. Consumer products, Hiba Life has now sort of become a consumer products company. Again, feel good sector. There's marketing, sourcing, procurement. There's a lot of elements. So I think you have to see what you like. You have to look at your personality type. You said you're a coder. I could never be a coder. I don't have that, let's say, the patience, and I'm aware of that. So I think you have to think about, okay, मेरी क्या skills हैं? What am I good at? मुझे किस चीज का शौक है? और उसके बेसिस पे यार अच्छा ठीक है यार. अच्छा बाय द वे ऑनलाइन बहुत सारे इस तरह के टेस्ट भी होते हैं. सो देयर इज अ मायर्स ब्रिग्स टेस्ट, MBTI
mm.
कहलाता है.
That develops your
अब
personality or shows you your personality
नहीं,
traits.
it shows you the kind of person you are. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you thinking or sensing? Are you feeling or judging?
Mm,
और फिर based on the outcomes it says कि अच्छा यार based on your answers these are the industries that a person with this result, these are the industries that person is usually successful in.
mm,
तो ये भी बड़ा जरूरी है. यू शुड देखिए डेटा, हमेशा रिसर्च और डेटा करके एक जगह पहुंचना चाहिए. तो ये रिसर्च जो है ना, इंटरनल रिसर्च है आपकी कि भाई मुझे शौक किस चीज का है, मेरी आदतें कैसी हैं, मुझे काम करने का मेरा स्टाइल क्या है, ठीक है, मैं किस चीज से खुश होता हूँ. और फिर उस बेसिस पे देखें कि यार अच्छा कौन सी इंडस्ट्री मेरे साथ अलाइन होती है, और शायद MBTI टेस्ट जैसी चीज का आप एक हेल्प ले सकते हैं.
Yeah, no, I took the test. It said that I could be a campaigner or an artist, and then I confused the test. Khud bhi. So it was a very funny experience for my end, but I get what you're saying. But when you started off East River, another question that pops up is that there were companies here that did digital marketing as well. So many people who want to dive into a field that already has a lot of competition, right? As you, who was new to the field as well, and dived in, how did you establish your mark? Is it difficult? I mean, of course it's difficult to establish a niche, but how difficult is it to actually get there and solidify your ground?
It's very difficult, yeah. First of all, you have to convince people to trust you at doing something you've never done before. Right? कभी पहले हमने डिजिटल मार्केटिंग मैं तो पहले नहीं की थी कभी. तो ठीक है, हमने पहले उनको कन्विंस किया. क्यों, कैसे कन्विंस किया कि भाई देखिए जो लोग हमारे पास आए हैं उनका एक्सपीरियंस है और हमारा एक्सपीरियंस क्लाइंट सर्विसिंग का. हाँ ठीक है, बैंकिंग में मैं था तो मुझे क्लाइंट सर्विसिंग समझ आती है, लेकिन आप ट्रस्ट करें क्योंकि हम हमारे साथ हैं, हम आपके. तो वो पहले आप कन्विंस करें, बड़ा मुश्किल हो. फिर आपने एक दफा कन्विंस करके ऑन बोर्ड कर लिया, उसके बाद आपको एक्चुअली डिलीवर करना है ना यार. एग्जीक्यूशन स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए, आपका आउटपुट अच्छा होना चाहिए, क्वालिटी ऑफ वर्क होनी चाहिए, क्रिएटिविटी ऑफ आइडियाज होने चाहिए. वो सब चीजें फिर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर वो नहीं होंगी तो आप अपना नाम कैसे स्टैब्लिश करेंगे? तो
It's very true.
एग्जीक्यूशन बिकम्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. देखिए, एक आपने बेच दिया, चले एक बंदे को आपने ऑनबोर्ड कर लिया, आपने पुअर एग्जीक्यूशन की, वो बंदा आपके साथ चलता रहेगा कुछ अरसे, फिर वो छोड़ के चला जाएगा, कहेगा यार थैंक यू, आई एम डन.
Hmm.
और फिर वो 3 लोगों को बताएगा कि यार मेरे पास, कोई पूछेगा यार कोई एजेंसी, यार इसके पास ना जाना, इन्होंने मेरा काम सही नहीं किया था. फिर वर्सेस आपने एक ही बंदे को लिया और जबरदस्त काम डिलीवर किया. यू पुट योर ब्लड स्वेट एंड टीयर्स इनटू इट एंड यू सेड, यू नो व्हाट, हियर्स फैंटास्टिक वर्क. And the client's like, wow, yeah, really, I'm blown away, fantastic. They give you more work. They give you more ideas. They give you more room to play. They give you more projects. That client suddenly becomes a bigger revenue stream, more profitable. And not only that, that client becomes your salesman. Because they will go out and tell the market, yeah, you know what, our digital agency is fantastic. अच्छा तुम्हें चाहिए, ये लो इनका नंबर है, कॉल कर लो इनको. तो आपको तो सेल्स की जरूरत ही नहीं है, आपको मार्केटिंग की जरूरत नहीं है, मार्केटिंग तो वो कर रहे हैं.
Your work
तो
speaks for
ये तो
itself.
the work speaks for yourself. तो इसके अंदर जो है, मैं एक चीज आपको एक सजेशन दूंगा कि एक कॉन्सेप्ट है नेट प्रोमोटर स्कोर का. ठीक है ना?
Hmm.
Just go online and you can Google it. NPS कहलाता है, नेट प्रोमोटर स्कोर. Read about it. If you are in the business, if you are in any business, servicing clients, selling to customers, if I'm selling honey, you could be selling sandwiches, someone could be selling chicken tikka, yaar. You know,
Hmm.
best chicken tikka of Karachi. आपने
Hmm.
एक सवाल करना है अपने कस्टमर से एट द एंड ऑफ दैट एक्सपीरियंस, चाहे उन्होंने टिक्का खा लिया हो, चाहे उन्होंने कढ़ाई खाई हो, चाहे जो भी खाया हो, कि आर यू अ नेट प्रोमोटर ऑफ माय प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस और नॉट. अब नेट प्रोमोटर का क्या मतलब है? देयर इज अ स्केल ऑफ 1 to 10. 1 means no, absolutely not, I am not going to promote you. 10 means I love you, you are the best, I will promote you to everyone in the world. ठीक
Hmm.
है? If you get a score that is 7, 8, 9, or 10, right? 7, 8 is
Hmm.
yes, I'm a promoter, and 9, 10 is wow, I really am a promoter, fantastic work.
Hmm.
Okay? So now the way the math adds up is, let's say I send this survey to 10 people. Out of the 10 people, 6 people ranked me a 7 or higher, which
Hmm.
means they are promoters, and 4 people ranked me 6 or lower, which means they are detractors. So the score, the way it's calculated, is the 6 promoters minus the 4 detractors is equal to 2,
Yeah.
right? Divided by the total number of people, which is 10. So 2 out of 10 is 20% promoters of your business based on the survey.
So that's like a still a big percentage, depending on where your
Well,
dynamic is.
you should be, they say you should be in the range of 30 to 50%.
Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
But what's interesting, it's a 1-question survey. Now imagine if your results are less than 0, which means more people are saying, nahi yaar, we will not promote you,
Hmm.
versus people saying, nahi yaar, haan, hum zarur promote karenge. फिर तो there's a problem ना यार. You must tackle it immediately. And तो ये
Hmm.
जरूरी चीज है, और इस तरह की चीज से आप अपने बिजनेस को इवॉल्व और रिफाइन कर सकते हैं.
That's interesting, but also that's such a business school, not a business school, but like that's such a loaded term. I might have to note it down and look into it further. Um, we do have another question coming up, but I think you reiterated the point on this one, that should we temporarily close a potential business if it's in loss and require continuous investment for growth when you are out of funds? And once restart, you will have to start from zero.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people play poker. ठीक है ना? पोकर में या किसी गेम में भी अगर आपका हाथ अच्छा आता, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू नीड मनी, राइट? यू हैव अ बैंक, यू क्रिएट अ बैंक. आप 500 रुपए से खेलें, 1000 रुपए से खेलें, आप लाखों से खेलें. हम दोस्तों के साथ आपस में मजाक में लेट्स से 1000 रुपए की बाइन रखे, यू प्ले अ गेम. व्हेन यू आर डाउन टू योर लास्ट 100 रुपीज, राइट, एंड यू वांट टू टेक अ रिस्क, ठीक है, you are very hesitant at taking that risk. What if I lose my 100? I'll have to buy in again, yaar. You know, and I'm talking about like small, मतलब 1000 रुपए की buy में क्या होता है? You know, like you're
It's a
just
big
playing it
risk.
for the fun of it, यार. You
Yeah.
know, you're thinking to यार 100 रुपए मेरे चले जाएंगे, but I'll have to buy in again. अब आप सोचें वही risk आप लाखों रुपए के साथ खेल रहे हैं. ठीक है, कि आपका जो आपका 10 लाख रुपए का या 1 करोड़ रुपए का इन्वेस्टमेंट था, you're down to your last 10%, and you're taking that risk. It's a very difficult decision to make when you are taking risks with this much fuel, with this much support behind you. तो जो सवाल है ना कि अगर पैसे खत्म हो गए, मैं रोक दूं थोड़ी देर, अगर आप समझते हो कि रिस्क लोगे और आपका श्योर शॉर्ट हैंड है, तो जो थोड़े बहुत पैसे लगे, श्योर शॉर्ट हैंड समझना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है, कैलकुलेटेड हैंड होता है कि यार मैं आई थिंक आई 90% प्रोबेबिलिटी है कि ये मैं जीत जाऊंगा, 10% तो फिर भी है ना नुकसान की. If you're at that level, then sure, maybe it's worth taking that risk and keeping the business running and just burning through it कि यार शायद वो छक्का लग जाए. But other than that, shut it down. You're better off approaching a business when you have cash in the bank, when you have some funds, because your decision quality will be better because you have that cushion. और वो mental cushion से बहुत फर्क पड़ता है.
Yeah, so I guess that was it for the questions part on the comment section. And it's so difficult to, manage my eyes this way, looking at the comment section, but also, initiating this conversation. But when you say that you have to manage risks and you have to manage them well and in accordance with your business, and, you're dealing with millions or billions of rupees, and that is the risk here, not a poker game or, not losing 100. Does the business start from zero? It was a follow-up on that same question. So when you're restarting it, given your example, would it be a zero?
Yeah, look, I would say if there's a way you can keep it alive and afloat without it requiring an external injection of cash, मतलब आप खर्चे अपने पूरे कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना, आप आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते, आप नहीं कोई नई प्रोडक्ट या नई सर्विस या कोई नई चीज नहीं डाल सकते, लेकिन जो चीज बिक रही है वो बिक रही है बिल्कुल एक स्केलेटन स्टाफ के साथ, या आप ही अकेले बेच रहे हो अपने एक्स्ट्रा टाइम में, राइट? अगर आप वो कंटिन्यू रख सकते हो तो प्लीज कंटिन्यू रखो, क्योंकि एटलीस्ट आप ट्रांजैक्ट कर रहे हो, एटलीस्ट आप सीख रहे हो उस छोटी छोटी ट्रांजैक्शंस में भी ना, जहां पे आपके पैसे पूरे हो रहे हैं, डेली का जो खर्चा है वो पूरा हो रहा है ना, आप बेशक कमा नहीं रहे हो, लेकिन एटलीस्ट आपने लाइव रखे. ऑब्वियसली मैं ये वही बात कर रहा हूँ कि यू फील दैट देयर इज पोटेंशियल. पहले तो पोटेंशियल आप असेस करें ना. अगर आप किसी डेड इन्वेस्टमेंट में, अगर आप वीसीआर प्रोडक्शन बिजनेस में हैं और कह रहे हैं यार मेरे वीसीआर भी कम बिक रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं सोच रहा हूँ उसको चलाता रहूँ, तो दैट्स इलॉजिकल. कौन लेगा वीसीआर इस दौर में? तो पहले तो सबसे पहले अपना बिजनेस असेस करें कि यार इज इट द राइट बिजनेस, इज देयर अ नीड, इज देयर अ फ्यूचर फॉर दिस. वो अगर है तो फिर आप कहेंगे ठीक है यार मैं इसको फिलहाल टुक करके चलाता हूँ, क्योंकि द फर्दर अलोंग यू टेक इट, क्या पता कहीं कोई नजर आ गया जिसको ये बिजनेस समझ आ गया, वो माइट पार्टनर अप, इन्वेस्ट विद यू, यू माइट हैव टाइम टू कीप पिचिंग इट टू पीपल. सो you're just buying time, but the idea needs to have strength. It needs to be an idea with long-term potential and scalability. Otherwise टुक करने का कोई फायदा नहीं.
All of your ideas have been generally very well calculated, and they're doing well, surprisingly. All of them are doing well. That is good, alhamdulillah. But well, those were it for the questions bit of my end and the end of the the commentary sections. Are there any details or any insights that you would like to share with us regarding business development?
Look, I think one thing that everyone forgets in business, right, is at the end of the day, when you're building a business, as much as it is about the product or service, ठीक है, बेशक हम शहद बेच रहे हैं, बेशक हम डिजिटल मार्केटिंग सर्विसेज बेच रहे हैं, ठीक है, उन चीज़ों के पीछे लोग हैं, ठीक है. जो बी कीपर है ना, जो शहद प्रोक्योर कर रहा है, वो बी डीलर को देता है या हनी डीलर को देता है, वो हनी डीलर फिर हमें बेचता है, फिर हमारी सप्लाई चेन टीम के अंदर, हमारे टोल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट के अंदर वहाँ पे लेबर है जो इसको पैकेज करती है, प्रोसेस करती है, फिल्टर करती है, पैक करती है, फिर वो वेयर हाउस में जाते हैं, वहाँ पे लोग वेयर हाउसिंग करते हैं, ठीक है, वेयर हाउस का स्टाफ पूरा आपको पैक करके फिर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को भेजता है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स मार्केट में जाते हैं, ठीक है ना, वो मार्केट में शेल्फ पे रखते हैं, शेल्फ के ऊपर वो बंदा जो है अपना मर्चेंडाइजर जाके देखता है कि यार शेल्फ पे प्रोडक्ट सही रखी हुई है या नहीं, फिर कस्टमर जाके देखता है, उसको समझ आ गई, उसने उठा लिया. सारे लोग हैं, शुरू से आखिर तक लोग हैं. बेशक एक मक्खी ने शहद बनाया होगा, लेकिन लोग इस पूरे प्रोसेस को चला रहे हैं. और अक्सर हम भूल जाते हैं यार कि बिजनेस जो है ना, ये लोग बनाते हैं. हमारा तो आइडिया है, मैंने तो एक आइडिया दे दिया और उसके बस पीछे खड़ा हो गया यार कि बस करना है, लेकिन आपने इन लोगों का ख्याल करना है. आपने इन लोगों की नीड समझनी है। असल बिजनेस ये है कि आप लोगों की नीड समझें और उनकी नीड सॉल्व करें। ये एक मार्केट नीड, एक बड़ी नीड है। अब आपने कह दिया यार मैं ये मार्केट नीड सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ, मैंने नेक्स्ट फिनटेक बना दिया क्योंकि यार पेमेंट वॉलेट्स या पेमेंट गेटवेज की कमी है पाकिस्तान में, ठीक है डन। अब उसके पीछे डेवलपर्स भी होंगे, उसके पीछे मार्केटिंग टीम भी होगी, उसके पीछे आपके फाइनेंस के डिपार्टमेंट के भी लोग। इन सब लोगों की नीड्स क्या हैं इंडिविजुअल? एज ए लीडर you have to lead these people. You have to be the guy they look up to or the girl they look up to and say, you know what, we will get through this. I understand your need, we will power through this, and I am right here. You have to get into the trenches with them. जब मुश्किल वक्त है, go down into the trenches. और जब आसान है और it's good, यार celebrate the victory, बड़ा खूब enjoy करो, लेकिन लोगों को साथ लेके चलना। ये अक्सर हम भूल जाते हैं कि यार बिजनेस मैंने बनाया है। मैंने नहीं बनाया बिजनेस, मेरे कोई भी बिजनेसेस मैंने नहीं बनाए, मेरी टीम्स ने बनाए। आज हम जहाँ खड़े हैं वो क्योंकि टीम्स ने रिस्क लिए जहाँ पे ले सकते थे, ठीक है, उनको मैंने सपोर्ट किया। मेरा मेरा काम सिर्फ सपोर्ट का है। लोग आइडेंटिफाई करना कि यार ये लोग अच्छे हो सकते हैं, उनको उनकी सीट पे बिठाना, उनको एक सीट देना, चीजें टाइम पे देना, तनख्वाह टाइम पे देने की कोशिश करना। अक्सर तनख्वाह लेट भी होगी, स्टार्टअप्स में तनख्वाह लेट होती है, कैश फ्लो डिस्टर्ब होता है, लेकिन आप साथ खड़े रहें और लोगों का आप लीडर बने। और लीडर बनना जो है ना, वो वक्त के साथ आता है, एक्सपेरिमेंट के साथ आता है। और आप इसके बारे में पढ़ भी सकते हैं, यूट्यूब पर भी देखें, लर्न अबाउट लीडरशिप। सो आई वुड से स्पेंड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम learning what leadership is and learning what your style of leadership is.
No,
This
I,
is
I
important.
agree 100% on that. Even T2F was started by a leader in its own regard, in its own accord. Sabine was a leader to us, still is an
Absolutely.
inspiration for us. And we still continue to
Absolutely.
thrive through, even though she passed away, but this place does not budge from where it is.
No, and
We have,
she led a mission, she led a vision. And so a leader is someone who leads, from the forefront, regardless of how challenging it is. And I think a lot of us, when we're building a business, we forget that. कि हमें eventually जब business चाहे एक 3 लोगों की टीम हो या 30 लोगों की टीम हो या 3,000 लोगों की टीम हो, हम उस टीम के लीडर हैं। तो हमें इनको लीड करना है और इनके साथ चलना है। तो ये जरूर मैं कहूँगा कि एक चीज दिमाग में रखनी चाहिए।
yeah. We have another question, based on the last conversation we had right now. That is there any criteria to judge a strength of an idea?
यार मुश्किल सवाल है। If you ask Procter and Gamble, which that tests everything, right? Super, like they do an incredible amount of research on everything. So, is there a criteria? Yes, you go out and do the research. आप नीलसन को हायर कर लें, इप्सोस को हायर कर लें, millions of rupees दे दें और कहें यार ये आइडिया है, जाके टेस्ट करें। इसकी डेमोग्राफिक मैं समझता हूँ, इसकी डेमोग्राफिक है 18 to 35, SECA है, ठीक है, जो नाजमाबाद में रहती है और जो कम्यूट करती है अपना चुंदरीगढ़ रोड पे। और मेरा आइडिया है कि मैं जी बॉक्स्ड बिरयानी उनके ऑफिस में भिजवाऊँ, ठीक है। अब जाके एक सर्वे करा ले कि यार ये बॉक्स बिरयानी सेम प्राइस, सेम डिलीवरी, सेम टेस्ट, रोजाना कोई खरीदने को तैयार है। या तो आप पहले वो इतना लंबा खर्चा करें, बट अगर आप प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल नहीं है तो आप नहीं कर सकते। सो व्हाट यू डू इज यू डू अ डिपस्टिक टेस्ट। आप अपने फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली को बांटते हैं, उनको समझ आई, फिर आपने अपने और एक्सटेंडेड सर्कल में बांटा, उनको समझ आई, फिर आपने अपने नेबरहुड में और मार्केट में थोड़ा सा टेस्ट करना शुरू किया प्राइसिंग के साथ, वहां समझ आई, फिर स्केल अप। और यही चीज मैंने अपना हनी के साथ किया था। हनी पहले मैंने अपने लिटरली फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली में बांटा था, फिर उन्होंने कहा यार ये अच्छा है, हमें और भेजो, फिर मैंने और भेजा, फिर उन्होंने कहा अच्छा है यार इसके छोटे एसक्यूज हैं तुम्हारे पास, फिर मैंने छोटे एसक्यू निकाले, फिर मार्केट में गए। तो it was a process that evolved with time. I think the best thing to test an idea is run that idea by people you trust and see how they react to it. Let them poke holes in it. क्या what about this? अच्छा अगर ये तुम्हारा आइडिया है, अगर बिरयानी बेचनी है, भाई तुम चावल कहाँ से लोगे, कंसिस्टेंटली कैसे लोगे, किस प्राइस पे लोगे, गोश्त डालोगे नहीं डालोगे, कितना गोश्त डालोगे, गोश्त की प्राइसिंग के तुम कैसे लॉक करोगे। अगर तुमने कहा कि मेरी बिरयानी चीपेस्ट बिरयानी होगी एंड द टेस्टीएस्ट, फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग अ रैंडम आइडिया, तो आप बेसिकली आइडिया टेस्ट कर रहे हैं और आप रिसर्च से ये जज कर रहे हैं कि ये आइडिया, ये कॉन्सेप्ट जिस ऑडियंस के लिए मैं क्रिएट कर रहा हूँ क्या उनके साथ चलेगा। अब ये ना हो कि आपने आइडिया बनाया हुआ है 30 साल के लोगों के लिए और आप क्वेश्चनिंग कर रहे हैं कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स की। You know what I mean? मतलब that doesn't make sense. If you start asking teenagers कि यार I have developed this amazing knee brace that will prevent the impact on your knees and your joint pain. Teenagers don't think about joint pain at that age. ना वो तो भाग दौड़ में लगे होते हैं. लेकिन हाँ, as you enter your 40s and 50s and 60s, joint pain becomes an issue.
Hmm.
So the research should be conducted on the right audience. लेकिन बड़ा जरूरी होता है कि आपका आइडिया में, एक तो आइडिया आपका कॉन्सेप्ट है, व्हाट आर यू ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व एंड हु इज द ऑडियंस. ऑडियंस कभी भी ना भूलें आप. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे सारा गेम, अगर आपके पास कस्टमर नहीं है ना, आपके पास कुछ नहीं है, आपके पास बिजनेस नहीं. ये लीडरशिप और ये एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और ये आइडिया बहुत अच्छा है, वेरी गुड. आइडिया के पीछे कस्टमर जरूर खड़ा होना चाहिए. तो नेवर फॉरगेट द कस्टमर. दैट इज आल्सो, आई वुड से दैट्स योर स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट.
So I guess it's safe to say to that you have to identify your target market before you initiate anything. And research
What
on
is
that.
the problem you're solving and who are you solving it for? Right? If I'm solving a problem, for example, मैंने कहा यार कराची में सड़कें सारी खराब है, ठीक है ना, सबकी गाड़ियों के सस्पेंशन खराब हो जाते हैं, ठीक है. नाउ मैं कहता हूँ कि मेरे पास एक ऐसा टायर मैंने निकाला है जो 5,000 रुपए का टायर है, which means it's one of the cheapest tires in the market. और वो सारी सस्पेंशन की बम्प्स जो हैं रोड्स की, वो सारी जीरो कर देगा. So it's like you're riding on air. Now look at the problem and look at my target audience. The problem, roads are broken and I have a really terrible time in the car. ऐसे हर जगह जा रहे हैं. So I have a big market now. Yeah? Suddenly the market size is big. It's a real problem. It's a big addressable market. And my target audience is anyone who sits in a car. The passenger will say यार वो वाला टायर लेके लगा लो गाड़ी में. The driver will say मैं ये वाला टायर लेके लगा लेता हूँ गाड़ी में. तो आपने वो ऑडियंस को और वो टारगेट मार्केट को असेस करना बड़ा जरूरी है. अच्छा, फिर ये चेक करना है कि यार डिमांड तो सबकी है कि यार हमें ये टायर चाहिए. क्या आर यू पुटिंग इट एट द राइट प्राइस? 5,000 रुपए पे शायद चल जाए, लेकिन 50,000 रुपए पर टायर तो नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकता ना कोई. सो देन फिर प्राइसिंग आ जाती है.
These are all research indicators that one needs to take. Some questions that are still morbid but are very crucial to ask when anyone's starting up their business is that you had your moments when you were at your low and your burned down moments, right? What made you go through? Like, I am pretty sure it wasn't simple for you to stop all the shops in all of your different countries cities when you did that. But your lowest moments, and how do you get through them? Your burned down moments.
I'll give you a real example. 2020, like COVID was, I think, the low moment for everyone. So what happened was I went on a road tour to meet all our distributors and retailers through Multan, basically through Punjab, all the way to Peshawar. And just to see कि honey distribution कैसी चल रही है, हमारे retailers क्या हैं, how are they stocking and everything. और मुझे बार-बार एक feedback आ रही थी कि यार आपका शहद जम रहा है, आपका शहद जम रहा है. मैंने कहा बिल्कुल जमेगा. Real honey is raw honey will always in the winter months freeze. ये नहीं कि इसमें चीनी है. Pure raw honey freezes. ठीक है ना. आप उस raw honey के अंदर आप चीनी मिला देंगे तो freeze नहीं होगा. आप उस raw honey को इतना heat कर देंगे कि इतना filter कर देंगे कि उसमें से सारी nutrients निकल आ जाएंगी और मतलब उसके अंदर pollen और जो भी इसकी वो होती हैं, let's say bees wax भी होता है, हर चीज होती है, बगैर filter के उससे नहीं अपना freeze होगा. मैंने को ये समझाया लेकिन समझ नहीं आई. तो मैंने कहा चलें इसको एक काम करते हैं. I will take back the honey that is frozen, that is वो जम जाता है ना, and I will create a new filtration process that doesn't affect the honey, and I will send it back to you at no cost to you. I will do it on my own. Done. We took all the honey from whatever the problematic honey was from all the distributors in different parts of the country, accumulated it in our warehouse in Lahore, and we were going to send it back to our Karachi facility. And all of this happened literally one day before the lockdown. Now suddenly my honey is no longer with distributors. Market is shut. Honey is all stuck there. And we picked up like करोड़ों का मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, like शहद. अब मैंने कहा यार अब क्या हो? There is no way to move the honey down. Plant बंद है, हर चीज बंद है, कोई सेल नहीं हो रही है, कुछ नहीं हो रही है क्योंकि डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर ने कहा मेरे पास डिमांड आ रही है, मेरे पास स्टॉक नहीं है उस डिमांड को मीट करने के लिए. अब अगले 3 महीने हमने कैसे गुजारे? I have no idea. I honestly don't know how we got through it. Because it took us about a month and a half to get all the honey to Karachi. Then it took another month and a half for the plant to like scale up and have all the people come in and then start the processing. Then it took another month and a half to get the honey back to the distributors to start the sales again. 4 months went through like this, and frankly, I think it was in the middle of May, June. अच्छा उसके बीच में मुझे भी COVID हो गया.
Oh no.
Yeah, Yeah, my whole family had COVID. Luckily, we all were fine. We got through it, symptoms, they, whatever. But with all of this, with COVID, and then I had a baby. My wife had a baby, but like I was there, obviously. So, there's a new addition to the family. There was this suddenly all of this kind of came together, and you're just like, this is a lot. But what got me through is, you know what? I moved back. I burnt my bridges. I broke my bridges, burnt the boat, sold them, whatever. When I moved back to Pakistan, ye karna hai. There is no other choice. Ye karna hai. So I had a very simple routine during the COVID days. Every day I was up and at work on my laptop at 10 a.m. and I used to finish at like 10 p.m. And we were on calls, sort of managing logistics, doing everything on calls. And just keeping that focus and keeping the team going. Yeah, we'll get through this, we'll get through this, we'll get through this, we'll get through this. It's tough, but we'll get through this. Just that daily reminder. And you have to remind yourself also, yeah, you'll get through this. It's fine. And so when December 31st happened, we were just doing a little New Year's celebration in our office. And literally, there were three people in my team who stood up and they're like, we didn't think that we would be here at the end of the year. And they were like, and we are not only are we here, but we're back in full form. And in fact, we're back better because we've improved our teams, we've grown, things have improved for us. So in the tough times, you just have to keep telling yourself, koi waqt ek jaisa nahi rehta hai, you will get through this. And it has to be a daily reminder. And you have to lead with that level of enthusiasm and that level of energy, because that energy everyone in your team sees. And they will feed off that energy.
You can't forget that you were a leader, and most people
That's where
look up
that
to you.
I feel. This is my view.
Well, that's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking to imagine so much happening, and yet you still pulled through, and your team pulled through. I
The
mean,
team
it's
pulled
yes,
through.
yeah.
I give them all credit. I mean, they could have easily bounced. They stuck around. They gave it time. I mean, we were late on everything, late on all sorts of payments. We really struggled. But they stuck around. They stayed through the difficult times, and they turned it around. We launched. It was during this time that during COVID, we launched 4 new products. In the middle of all of this, we launched 4 new products, and now those products are the fastest selling products. Flavored honey. No one has ever done flavored honey. We have chocolate and vanilla flavored honey. We just said, you know what? We don't want to be dependent on Nutella. Let's give the kids this. So we just created that flavor, launched in the market. We launched a hand sanitizer. We launched a replacement for Hajmola. It's called Hazmix. All while COVID happened. So by August, we had 4 new products.
That is some real good adaptability. And also, you know what this actually shows me as we're nearing the end of the session as well. What we talked about could merely add up to, textbook words like adaptability, determination, and never losing hope. But then there's an actual face attached to it. There's a face attached to it. There's a story attached to it. There's an entire journey, your journey attached to it. And I guess a lot of people have like different learning outcomes, but this might be very impactful for our viewers and even for me or for anyone who's viewing this right now. It it adds to the empathy section of it, I suppose. It adds to the empathy section of all of this. Your journey adds up greatly in what I perceive as starting up a business or being a leadership role or leadership model for anyone. So that's wonderful. I guess we have another one of these comments. That great to see
Great.
you are promoting competition to
Thank you,
Hajmola.
Shan. You should go try it. It's called Hazmix. It is made in Pakistan, and literally, I go through at least 5 at a time, chewing through them. So my team loves them, So it should be available in a store near you. And now we're launching the small, like sachet packs that are going to be less than I think ₹5. The super
Easy
low
to carry
price ones.
around,
Yeah,
easy
so
to
that way it's
consume.
exactly easy to consume, it's cheaper price point. क्योंकि देखिए price point हमारे मुल्क में बड़ी sensitive एक चीज है.
Hmm.
You got to make sure your product is priced right. I mean, if your audience is the awam, right? अगर आप
Hmm.
niche audience,
In
अगर
the
आप
general
Rolls Royce
public,
बेचना
yeah.
चाह रहे हैं, Rolls Royce बेचनी है तो यहाँ पे सिर्फ 10 लोग हैं जो Rolls Royce लेंगे. लेकिन अगर आपने हाजमोला बेचना है तो उसकी price point ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि आवाम खा सके.
Yeah, that's a target audience. I mean, I myself am a target audience for Pepto-Bismols and digestives. Every target
Exactly.
audience.
I'll send some
Yeah.
for you. You should try it out. I'll send some honey for you as well.
Yes, I will do a PR representation. That is great. Well, as we are nearing time, are there any final comments or final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up?
I go for it. Don't wait. Don't wait. Again, um, people say कि यार नहीं अभी the moment's not right. अच्छा ये timing is not right. अच्छा अभी मैं 20s में अच्छा मैं थोड़ा सा ये कर लूँ. अच्छा मुझे वो कर लूँ. Everyone thinks कि यार इसका एक right time होगा. The right time is now. But देखिए आप अपनी situation सबसे पहले तो अपनी situation please evaluate कर लें. अगर आप समझते हैं कि financially you can't take that risk, partner up with someone यार. See if you can find someone who can help or share that risk with you. कोई बात नहीं, आइडिया बेशक आपका हो, पैसे उनके हो सकते हैं. दो पार्टनर ले लेंगे पार्टनर, लेकिन पार्टनरशिप में वो एक पूरी अलग कॉन्वर्सेशन है कि पार्टनरशिप कैसे अच्छी चलाई जा सकती है. लेकिन अगर रिस्क लेना है ना यार, मैं एक बात बताऊं, the last thought I'd leave with you is mistakes are cheap when you're young. गलतियां जो है ना बड़ी सस्ती होती हैं जब आप जवानी में होते हैं, क्योंकि उस गलती से आप जल्दी निकल के सीधा कर सकते हैं सिचुएशन को, और आपके पास पूरी जिंदगी पड़ी हुई है. अगर आप 22 साल की उम्र में गलती कर रहे हैं और आपको 2 साल लग जाते हैं उसको सीधा करने में, वो स्टिल 24. लेकिन मैं अगर 50 साल की उम्र में गलती करता हूँ, पहले तो उस गलती को सीधा करने में ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा. अब मैं 55-54 साल की उम्र में मैं सीधा करके आगे निकलूं, यार आई लॉस्ट वैल्यूएबल टाइम. Most people will retire at 60-65, right? So you're better off taking that risk early on in life. जल्दी लें फैसला, कर लें, ट्राई कर लें यार, क्या होगा, नुकसान होगा, गलती कर लेंगे, ठीक है यार, उससे सीखेंगे. Don't wait, go for it.
That's a wonderful take back. And I really appreciate that you took out the time to host the session
Thank
with
you for
us.
having me. Really enjoyed this. And thank you
And
everyone for tuning in.
yes,
Loved the comments.
thank you,
Mudassir,
everyone.
Sean, and so on. Who else was
It
here?
was,
Osama, Amna.
thank you so much for joining in. And I would like to take leave now. And thank you. It was an honor, really an honor for me to learn so much, and as well as for the audience members to also get an insight to your journey and your story. And I hope that we can collaborate further on future projects and see how it goes. Then, for now,
Absolutely, absolutely. Would love to do that. We do, and again, thank you to Mudassir on the Digitales thing. We did the Digitales thing, and that's been fun for me as well. So I am in your shoes.
oh,
Yeah. So we do a webinar similar to this, in which I'm in your shoes, having the same conversation you're having with me with other people. So
that's interesting. That means you're still
yeah,
approachable to a lot of people to actually help them learn and everything.
we
I
try,
might
we
join
try.
another session, I suppose. I'll
Would
join
love
that
it. Would
session.
love that. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining in, and here's to hoping for future collaborations. And since it's
Perfect.
9, you've just come from traffic and all, I would leave it to you then. And I would say goodbye to everyone, and goodbye and good night to you as well. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Shumaila. Thank you. Bye bye.
Allah Hafiz.